All right, friends, so I want to go over our Bible. I want to go over our Psalm 23. So hopefully you still have this page. I know there's a little bit of a glare, but hopefully you still have this page to practice your words, practice your parts. We did the first part last week. We're going to add the second part this week. And then next week, you're going to say both of these parts to us, okay? Now, you're welcome to work on the whole thing. That's fine. But next week, you have to say just these two parts to us. So make sure you're practicing those this week, okay? I want to go over it with emotions. I'm going to go over the whole thing, and then I want to read you a book, okay? So, Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Psalm 23. Now, when I got to go to Israel a few years back, I actually took some cool pictures in Israel, and I've always loved Psalm 23, and so I made my own Psalm 23 book with pictures that I took or some of my friends took on our Israel trip. So I want to read this to you today. All right, and there's a picture of some real sheep there that were grazing when we saw them outside of our bus. So, says, the Lord is my shepherd. You can see that there's a shepherd, actually a shepherdess there. And then it says, God cares for you the way a shepherd would care for his sheep or her sheep. And these are real pictures I took in Israel when I went a few years back. So the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. Now, does that look very green to you? It does not look very green, but that's where they had their sheep. It says, believe it or not, these are green pastures. A sheep gets a mouthful, just enough, and then searches for the next mouthful. God gives you just enough for what you need too. He takes care of us just like a shepherd would take care of sheep. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. It says water is important for survival. God gives you what you need to live, what we need to survive. He guides you to quiet waters, not rushing, wadi flood waters that could hurt you. So God always gives us what we need in a safe way. He guides me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Now, when I do the motion, I do this, paths of righteousness, because if you can look really closely at this, do you see some little paths on these hills? Now, these don't look that big, but these are really tall hills. And they have paths that go back and forth. On a mountain, they're called switchbacks. But they used to call them the right path to take, the path of righteousness. So a shepherd would know the right path to get a sheep up that hill. If you tried to go straight up that mountain, you would fall down, right? It would be too steep. It would collapse on you. You have to go back and forth on the right path in order to be safe. So it says the shepherd knows the right path to take so that the sheep will be safe. These lines on the side of the hill are the right paths, or the paths of righteousness. God knows the right path for you to take too. We need to trust Him. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. So says God protects you when you're scared, just like a shepherd would protect his sheep. So even if you're in a spot, that would be a scary spot to be if some animal came for the sheep. But a shepherd would protect them, just like God protects us. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. These are some real pictures I took. It says when you eat with someone at a table, it means you have a good relationship with him. You're friends. God gives us lots of good things, and he is our friend too. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. It says when someone was anointed with oil, it meant that that person had a special job or purpose. David was anointed with oil when he was told he would be the next king. God has a special job, had a special job for David, and he has a special job for you too. God has a special plan for your life, plans with the promise of good things like cups so full that they overflow. You just need to follow him. Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life. This one's actually me sitting in the Garden of Gethsemane where Jesus prayed that night before he was crucified. It was pretty cool. It says God came so we can have life to the fullest. He wants to give us good things in this life, and he also promises that he'll always be with us. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. It says God is with you now, and he's preparing a place for you in heaven. It'll be a wonderful place for all who love Jesus. I'm going to tell you, this is looking at the from the Mount of Olives down into Jerusalem when Jesus came, like for Palm Sunday. This one is the sunrise over the Sea of Galilee, like the disciples would have seen that morning when they caught the fish and Jesus, they had the fish fry on the beach. That would have been pretty awesome. And this is overlooking the Sea of Galilee. So, and then there's just a couple fun pictures, camels and things that we got to see there. So practice this psalm. It's a beautiful one. I hope that you're liking it. So practice this, and next week you'll say the first 2 parts to us, okay?